Hey, what's going down, everybody? It's your boy Dave, and I'm coming at you with another free play mode quick hit. It is June 1st, 2016, and I am joined once again by the CEO and founder of Tough Nerd Toys, Donay Shogeki. What's going on, brother?
And nothing much. Great to always be here. Always good to be on your show.
And I'm glad to have you, and we're about to delve back into some more Captain America stuff. And roughly 3 hours ago, Cinema Blend, which is a very movie-centric website, if you didn't catch it by the name, released an article on why giving Captain America a boyfriend in the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes sense. And the writer, Connor Schwedenfredger, I know I fucked that up, but no disrespect to the man's name, but he wrote that giving Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe gives Captain America a more dynamic side, will allow him to be like, it would allow Marvel and Marvel Studios to explore more of the relationship side of Captain America, and it would give the LGBT community kind of a representative on screen in a main character sense. And while I have nothing against lesbian, bisexual, gay, or transgendered characters,
Nor do I. Nor do I.
Captain America is not the one that you want to go about this with for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that you would totally fuck up the continuity of the Captain America
Absolutely.
and Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, for that matter.
Absolutely.
Because if you remember, a lot of the first Captain America movie was spent showing how Steve Rogers was essentially the lovable loser, like him striking out with various girls, like just being completely awkward. And even when he becomes the super soldier, he's still awkward around women. And a lot of the subplot is between him and Agent Carter trying to do this awkward dance, like he's finally getting recognition from girls, but she becomes jealous and all this stuff. But in the end of the first Captain America movie, she kisses him, not like the friendship kiss on the forehead. This is full lip lock, tongue in the mouth.
Yeah, it was a passionate kiss.
Exactly.
Passionate kiss.
So it's not as if Captain America, Steve Rogers, is gay.
And if you follow the comics, not to interrupt, but if you follow the comics, in the future, Captain America and I think Black Widow had a child, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And also, too, if you go on by that article that guy put up there, he was basically trying to say that the letter that he left for in Civil War, that he left for Iron Man, Tony Stark, was basically him admitting in a subtle way that he's gay. Like, that's not what he's saying. Captain America has always felt like he's an outcast because, for one, he came from a different era. Two, he was unfrozen here, and then all of the differences within the villains he was fighting and the villains that they were fighting were completely different. Well, the present day villains were completely different from the villains he had been fighting. It was a whole different. And then finally, everyone he knew was dead, just about.
Yeah, that's how Captain America has always.
That's what he meant by when he said that. Oh, the letter, because I've always felt like an outcast. That's what he meant. He wasn't saying like, I never felt like I belonged because I was gay. No. Not to mention this. If they do this correctly, if they're trying to appease the LGBT community, all they have to do is just basically make some heroes and villains that are, homosexual, gay, whatever the case may be. And again, I am not, homophobic or anything like that, but certain things just can't be tampered with, or certain things shouldn't be tampered with.
Which leads me to the second thing. But before I get to the second thing, I absolutely agree with you. Like, this person totally missed the point of the letter.
Yes.
It's like, if you've read anything Captain America, the basis of his character is that he's a person from a time long forgotten. Like, he is the last representative of that time. outside of like World War II veterans, but
Right.
he's the living embodiment of that time and the modern era, who's actually able to portray that and like not like an old man just get off my lawn sort of way, you know?
Right. Exactly.
But leading into the the reason why this would not make sense is because Marvel already has gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender
There are
superheroes
there are
and
a bevy
villains.
of them. There's a plethora of these like Marvel superheroes and villains that are gay and
It's
that are lead an alternate lifestyle. Or like what people would consider not heterosexual. So I don't see why they're doing this. Not to mention, and this holds a soft spot for me because I'm a big Captain America fan. I love Captain America. You
right.
know what I mean? And I just don't think this is necessary for what they're trying to do. And I see what they're trying to do. I understand it completely. It's the same thing that I feel Star Wars is doing. They're trying to enforce the so-called girl power or the LGBT, and no, certain things just need to be, and again, I don't want anyone to misconstrue me as being like, oh, you're sexist, you're racist, this, that, and the other. No, but this doesn't need to happen just to pull the audience in for sales.
Like there's a proper way to do it, and this isn't it.
No, not at all. I completely agree.
Like I would say if you're that determined to introduce a LGBT centric character into the Marvel centric cinematic universe, start from scratch. Make a totally new personality that is exclusive to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You don't want to take something that's pre-existing that has a long-standing lore and then by doing this you totally discount it, because that's kind of a mistake that Marvel did with Bobby Drake, aka Iceman, and the X-Men comic books,
Hey,
is made him gay, and that's like, okay, that makes kind of no sense
right.
from a canon and lore of the character standpoint, because as X-Men readers know, and like essentially readers of any of the X comic books or mutant centric comics, is that Bobby Drake has been after Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat, for the longest time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it just totally disavow. It would ruin everything. Even the Agent Carter story, it would start to interfere with. It would just ruin so many things. So many. To me, I understand what these movies. To me, essentially, I feel as though this incorporation with Disney is just trying to disavow all of the canon elements that existed within these comics, these comic book and these comic book heroes origins. Because who was it? I think it was oh god, it was basically with Captain America that we spoke about this before. Rob Liefeld, when he did that situation where what was that series called?
Heroes Reborn.
Heroes Reborn. Oh my God. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a big friend. I talk to Rob Liefeld every now and then and everything, but I always tell him, I was like, no, that wasn't one of your.
Is he like still salty at me because he banned me from his Facebook page
He
like five
brings it
years
up
ago?
occasionally here and there. Here and there he'll bring it up, but I mean, it's not like he'll just.
If you listening, Rob, let me just extend the olive branch, man. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't realize you would get that salty.
But Rob, you did mess up with that Heroes Reborn. That Captain America was horrible. I mean, I love your X Force. I love X Force and New Mutants. I love it, but no, that Captain America thing was horrible. Which in turn leads to where the same thing Star Wars is doing, where they're like totally discrediting the original storylines of these heroes, these villains, the whole continuity, and creating their own. They're ruining things.
I don't think Star Wars is like creating its own continuity. It's kind of like, I can understand why people are like, oh, they got rid of the expanded universe and they want to shoot for a singular continuity. I can understand that because
that I can too. I can understand that too.
The expanded universe was written by like dozens and dozens of authors, and even though it kind of builds off of each other, it kind of takes it's kind of each author's interpretation of the Star Wars universe outside
Okay.
of the main canon. And I can understand when Disney bought Lucasfilms, they kind of wanted to clean it up. So I don't begrudge them for that. But this, they're not really rebooting the Marvel universe. They're still keeping the lore, but with this trying to
No,
make,
but this would reboot it.
yeah, it would
Like
reboot
it,
it.
it would reboot it, even if they didn't want to. This would reboot it.
Yeah, it would have very, very real side effects, even unintentional ones and long lasting ones spread across the Marvel universe. It would drastically alter so many relationships between Captain America and so many other characters. It doesn't make sense to do it with Captain America. Like, if I can, like, they did it with the Ultimate Marvel universe with that version of Colossus. They made Colossus gay, and I didn't mind that because the
That was a
Ultimate
completely
Marvel,
different universe, right?
yeah, Ultimate Marvel universe was a completely different spin, a modern take on the Marvel universe, and that gives you leeway to do new things with existing characters because even though the characters are well known, you're essentially starting the lore from scratch again.
Right. Or what they could have done is like, all right, during the 80s, like early 80s, Marvel had become a bit, it was still based towards children, but it was becoming more dark and more serious. So they came out with a group called Power Pack. I don't know if you remember Power Pack or not.
Oh, geez, I'd rather not.
Yeah, I know, but they basically did that to cater towards more of the children that was still reading comics. You understand what I'm saying? And if they want to do that for the LGBT community, just make something equivalent or something like Power Pack, and within those heroes mainly aimed at the LGBT community, they can have like guest appearances from Captain America and other Marvel superheroes like they did in Power Pack.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, if they go ahead and do something like that, an LGBT centric superhero or even supervillain team, they have to do it right. They can't make these guys like
Yeah,
outright flaming
yeah,
homosexuals
exactly,
and stuff
exactly.
like that. Have these guys like just be the
Be the
stereotypical
superheroes and
superhero,
exactly, and then like
but
show a small scene or something like that, them hanging with their boyfriend or their girlfriend or whatever the case may be. Like
yeah,
no big deal.
like in the Ultimate X-Men books where they show Colossus going out with one of the members of X Factor, I believe.
Yeah, X Factor.
He was going out with Wendigo because they made Wendigo like a dude in the Ultimate Marvel universe, and they showed him going out with Wendigo, and they did it in a very tasteful and respectful manner that was indicative of an actual gay relationship. And nobody batted an eye about it because, like, yeah, we see this every day, especially if you live in like northeastern cities or west coast cities. It's nothing that you would think twice about, and that's how I think a gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender relationship should be treated within comic books and comic book movies. It's not something that should be made a big deal of. It's just something that should exist without batting an eye. It's like,
Yeah, I
okay.
just think like the rhetoric that they're going about and using is just completely wrong. It's just I don't agree with it at all. I don't like this at all. They could have taken a different approach. You know what I mean?
I agree. And I got one more point to make. The third point on this is like Captain America is really the only character that that has had any kind of relationship explored within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even though they show Hawkeye having a family and Bruce Banner kind of getting close with Black Widow. They don't really show a true relationship dynamic outside of the first Captain America because they show like the dance and the awkwardness and everything,
Right.
and how they find like even in the second Captain America movie, Agent Carter's still alive, but she's old, and you see Steve Rogers going to visit her in the nursing home, and he still has that love for her
Exactly. Exactly.
because he remembers her as she was, and he doesn't think of himself as this young person, he thinks of himself as this old soul. Like, this is who he is on the inside. Don't This is not who I am on the outside. Like, my outside does not match my inside.
Right.
But that, like, I respect where this guy's article is coming from, but that's not what it is.
No, I don't even think, and sad to say, I don't even think this person who wrote this is a comic reader. I don't think he's a long time or a long, he's been reading comics for a while, because he took that letter completely wrong. That's not what he meant by that letter at all. That letter to Tony Stark or Iron Man, that's not what he meant.
But I want to know what you listeners out there think about this. Do you think that they should go ahead and move forward with making Steve Rogers a gay character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Do you agree or disagree with the article? I'll leave it in the link below. And if you want to get creative, make a response video, because I'm definitely interested in knowing what you guys think out there. So with that, we are going to sign off. I hope you guys have a good evening. This is Dave from the Free Play Mode, here with my main man, Danae Shogeki from Tough Nerd Toys, signing out. Hoping you all have a good evening. Peace, folks. We are out.
Later.